Yeah, I thought I'd start the stream, and then I went to get some ice cream because I'm frigging hot. Ice cream. Anyway, right. So the new drawer section, it's not installed yet. As you can see, it's not attached. But this is what we're going to be doing. Is attaching it. Now, there's a certain amount of shrinkage in the original top section that I originally did. So what I plan on doing is putting thick layers of plastic on these three what do you call them? Seating points to stick to the middle section on here, because it's quite a bit of a gap, because of, I don't know, this is kind of warped a bit at the moment. It's drying out still. This end, when I push this end down, this end lifts up a bit. There's a bit. It'll settle out eventually as it dries out, because it's still got acetone in it. So I'm going to stick the three middle sections in, but I'm not going to stick the end sections on until later, because I can get to those easily with my syringe. I can easily get to these end sections. I can use super glue as well if I want. So yeah, but I just wanted to show before I actually stuck it all together how it all goes together. I've took all the coils off now because it's a lot easier to work with when it's not bogged down with a lot of weight. Not much to really show really. I don't have to stick it on there right next minute to be nice, but I've got it all cleaned up. I got the surfaces. I got the surfaces prepared, ready. Well, they don't really need to be cleaned because this acetone, it just soaks straight through everything. I needed some ice cream. I was boiling. So ultimately, once this is all sorted and bonded on, once it's attached, it'll be permanent. I did actually think about why don't, some people might say, why don't you just put some brackets on and bolt it on, but that means having metal pieces that influence the magnetic rotors, and I don't want any more metal than I can help with. I've got these little bolts on the end to attach the end caps, but they're very small. They're only like 2mm studs. I don't want to go with any more steel, to be honest. It causes interference with the rotor assembly. It causes drag. So I just wanted to show you this before I actually stuck it all together. I've got it all cleaned up ready. I stuck these adjustable coils in the top. Only stuck them in really just to make sure the spacing was right. Make sure all the spacings are right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. Because these adjustable coils that go in there, these are the rectangular ones, got the bigger ones, but these are a lot easier to get in and out. So, you see, when I stick the end ones on, these end ones, these need to be positioned at the bottom so that we have the spacing correct, so that these will line up properly with the there when I stick the end pieces, so that, because if I stick them on first and then try to push these down, they might just wedge up and get stuck, and so it's important to have them in the down position down here, these spacers, before I actually bond these edges on. So that's the reason why I haven't stuck it on yet, because I've been thinking about planning how to do it. So I'd have to stick this side on first. Well, I'm going to stick the middle section all on first actually, but then these end flaps I'll be doing later, because each one I'd have to leave these in the down position while this sets, and then I can move these all the way around to the other side. Oh, that's a bit tight there. I actually stuck one of these back on yesterday. Oh, I've got a crack opening up. This is a good thing I'm doing this, because there's a crack there and I need to stick some plastic in there. You won't be able to see it, but yeah, it's the force of this thing going down here. It's kind of opened up a crack, a fissure. Let's push this all the way down and see if it'll split it anymore. Get that all the way down to the bottom. You can't see it's on the other side now. Yeah, so that's going to work. So it lines up these end pieces for when I stick them on, these parts here, when I've got those all the way at the bottom. So this is how I'm setting it, you see. The spacing, these are perfect for rotating around to get my spacings right. Yeah. Let's move this up again. It's a bit tight right here for some reason. I see it's opening that up. I need to inject some plastic into that gap. So what I'm probably going to do is get file that out and put some plastic in there. There's let's see if I can show you this on the camera. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very small. But there's I stick my blade in it. Right there, there's where my blade is. You might not be able to see it, but there's a little gap. The blade stuck in it right now. So I need to stick my knife in a bit more, open it up, and squirt some of my plastic in there to seal it up. So this is why I didn't stick this on yet. I need to do an integrity check of everything. So I'm going to get my syringe and I'm going to... damn it, my needle's stuck in there. Plastic set. Sometimes I can't get the damn thing out. The only way to do it is to heat it up with a lighter, which warms the plastic. Damn computer's gone to sleep. There we go, I got my needle out. I'm right out. So I've got to open that crack up, repair it. I don't want to open it all the way up to... I don't want to split it right into the middle, obviously. Just want to get it wide. Actually, let me just stick my screwdriver in there. And see if I can get some plastic injected into that hole. Come on. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to use some acetone. So it's on the opposite side to what you can see, but I'll put the camera over there because the light's on that side and it just, you can see better really with the light, but you can't see all that well. So I'll move this thing out of the way. Get some acetone, squirt that on, and my glove, which I didn't even have on my hand. Oops. Right, that should. Got some cotton wool on the end now. Right, that should repair that. Take my glove off again. I don't want this thing getting stuck, so I'm taking it out. I'll stick it in the bottom at this end. Actually, I'll leave it out for now. Just let that dry. So these cracks are superfluous, they're not critical, because I'm prizing them apart with when I've got these coils wedged in there. The main strength is in this axis, up and down. They're not very strong in that axis, but as long as they're strong in this sort of centrifugal and outwards axis, that they're fine, they'll do the job. It's like layers of a tree trunk, really. My ice cream's melting. I got a biscuit, I stuck it in the ice cream. I had to eat that, otherwise it would have melted. Anyway, so now all I've got to do, this will dry by itself. I can stick my sink back in here. I'll stick it down this bottom end. So I'm going to need quite a bit of plastic. I'm holding this together. Hard to see in there, but there's a bit of a gap, but that's fine. I did take off a lot of material. Most of my surfaces are in close contact, which is great. I'm just looking at the mating surfaces to see, get a rough idea of how much plastic to squirt on there. Right, I might as well get it done. So I think I'll go with the green stuff. I've just got more, my pink stuff has nearly run out. So I'm going to take the syringe part off the end because it restricts it up a bit too much, and I'm just going to start with I'm going to start squirting some plastic into these onto these bits. Don't want too much, otherwise it'll run everywhere. I'll put my needle back on because I need to wipe the end of this. This stuff will take a while to dry. I don't want to squeeze it together while it's still very wet. I'm trying to fill up a gap, you see, and it will remain flexible for quite a long time because of that. Quite a lot I put on there. I'm going to use my needle now to do this one. So I'm going to go right down to here. I'll do this one. I'm doing the 3 middle ones. I'll do the outside ones later, as I explained earlier. Do the other side. As this stuff dries, it'll pull in anyway. It'll naturally pull things in a bit. Right. Right. I'm just going to put my pin back in here. I'm just going to let that I'm just going to let its surface dry a little bit because it makes less of a mess when I squeeze 2 halves together. I am going to make a cup of coffee because, as I said, I want this to be I want it to have a nice seated situation on it. You see, what's kind of hard to explain is I've put a lot of plastic on here, right? And it's at the consistency. stitching, what the hell am I saying? It's at the consistency at the moment of like very, very sticky jelly. And when I put this on, when I stick it on, it's just going to ooze out everywhere. It's going to run down the sides like paint. Well, if I leave it a while, it turns into a putty. It becomes very much like putty, right? Like linseed oil putty. And because it's more putty and then less runny, when I put the two surfaces together, when it squeezes out, it's not going to run down the sides and make a big mess. And it's also a lot easier for me to trim any surplus off with a knife. And then all I have to do is squirt a bit of acetone at it to make the seal really good and bond perfectly. So I could squirt acetone at it later to really seal the edges, but at the moment I'm putting extra on, so it's going to ooze out all over the place when I put the two surfaces together. So for a while it's going to remain very, very squidgy, and it's still squidgy. I can feel it now. And as it is, I might have to put extra on anyway, because there's quite a big gap on between some of these. So it looks like I am going to have to put a bit more on here. So I'm just going to, because this one's shriveled up a bit, quite a lot. My kettle's boiled. I'm going to get my coffee. Get off. Stuck to me. I can actually do the edges, but in the middle. So these middle sections, these end sections in the centre, I can do these, but I don't want to do these long bits down here because they have to be bent out a bit. So I'm going to do those later. So I'm going to put a little bit on this edge here, on these edges, because these won't move. These parts aren't going to move at all. So. The reason I'm doing these waited a while is because this is thinner, so it's going to dry quicker. So I'm putting it on later. I tell you, thank God for syringes. If I was to try to put this on with a spatula, oh, what a mess it would be. You wouldn't believe what a mess it would be. Because this stuff, it starts drying as soon as it comes out of the needle. It just literally turns into thick glue, and it dries very quickly as it comes out the end of my needle. My needle's always getting blocked up, it's always clogging up, and I have to keep sticking a piece of wire in it to stop it from drying up on me, so I can pull this piece of wire out, and it'll still flow. Although if I didn't stick this wire in it, I'd have to use a drill to drill the flipping needle out. It would be that bad. Right, so I've got all my surfaces ready and prepped, so I'm just going to wait a while a little bit longer. And you get my paintbrush just to poke this a bit. Yeah, see that? It's got a dry skin on the outside now. It's actually got a dry skin on the outside, which makes it a lot easier to position things. Actually, on the outside it's dry, but as soon as it comes into contact with another surface, the air can't get to it anymore, and that dry skin that was there, when it's in contact with the other piece of plastic, it would melt again, it would become fluid again, and it would, it would stick to that. At the moment it can't do, because there's constantly air blowing past it, so it forms like a skin. It's a bit like, when you're boiling milk in a pan, and the top of the milk in the pan develops like a skin on it, and you can stick your spoon in and you can pick the skin out. It's like that, basically. But the skin goes fluid and liquid again as soon as it comes into contact with a surface where there's no air. So what I've got to do now is lower this down very gently, exactly in the right position. Right, so I've got to line these middle. I'm going to hold the very middle one, line that perfectly up with this, and I've got to be very careful not to move it around as much, because otherwise it'll switch it all over the place. And I've got to lower it gently until we are on. I think something is already come into contact somewhere. Right, it's already, I can feel it. I haven't lined up properly. Right, there we go. I can feel it starting to. Right, move it up a little bit. Right, take the ends, push it along a little bit. I was about 1 millimetre out. Now it's going to bond. It's going to actually start to stick. I'm going to put my finger on the end there and on the other side so it's dead straight. So it will just sit, it will seat into the plastic, and it will just gently squeeze out a little bit. And I can look down it now, because I see I've got it perfect. It looks like it's perfect. It's I can't see any air. I can't see any air or light through. Sorry, I can't see any light through the gaps in the middle, which means it's actually seating bang on, which is really good news, because it means I don't have to rip the thing apart and make a big mess and start all over again. As long as the middle section's perfectly lined up, it should be right. Yeah, that's great. So I'll hold it together with my fingers, turn it upside down, have a look. I can't see daylight through any of that. Actually, there is a gap. I can see a gap. I can fill that up with my strings though. There's one gap I missed, and it's on this side. And I can just get my needle and squirt some more in there. So I'll do that now. Sure, there's a bit of a gap there, so I can hold it together with my fingers and squirt this needle in there and fill that gap up. Right. It's holding itself together now. This needle gets right inside, so it's really useful, because I would know there's no way I could get into that area without a needle on the end. Right, now I can actually put some more in the ends here, between here and there. It's got stringy now. Right, get my glove on. Want a bit of acetone on here. I'll just wipe the surplus off. do the other side. I think yeah, the other side wants a little bit more on. Oh, my needle's clogged up. Right. I need to go. Right, I've just wiped it off on my finger. That's a mess. I'll just wipe on this paper. Right, so I'm just going to let that dry now. I'll do these flange, these end pieces later. These end pieces don't technically have to be glued on really, but I'll do them later. As long as the main structure's stuck on, and which it is. It's hard to see on camera. No, I'll try and get you a close up if I can, but I don't think you'll be able to see much. The focus is crap. I'll try and get it on my other camera actually. It's too dark. Can't really see a lot. Oh, that's stuck to it. Right. In holes everywhere. Right, so I just have to let that dry now. And that's an overnight job. I've got to put the feet on later. I've been prepping the feet ready to put on. I suppose I could stick the feet on now actually. Won't make any difference. So I've got my rubber, silicone rubber actually, in these feet, which I took off the other one. I thought, well, I'm not going to waste them, there's nothing wrong with them. I made the holes bigger so I could slot them in. So I put one foot there, one foot there. I could stick them on now. There's no reason why I can't. It'll help more air circulate as I higher up. Let's see if they're level first. Oh, this one wants a bit more filing, I think. Let's just swap this one around in case. Oh, it goes in. Oh, my foot's come off. Right, now I've got it on. I'm just checking to see if you line up if they're level. Might have to put packing under one of the feet, you see, if it's not level. Oh, it's perfect. I think. Yeah, maybe sometimes by moving one from another, I'll just take this one out, swap it with this one over here. Come on, get on. It's a tight fit, is that one? see if that's level. No, that one. Oh, oh, this one's not on properly. Right, it's because I'm trying to. Let's check that. That is level. Wasn't pushed in properly, this one, that's why. Let's check it now. Actually, that one is too high now, so it wants to come out a bit. Because it's a tight fit, this one, I can pull it out a bit and inject some plastic underneath it, which is good. So that one wants to come off a bit. Ah, that's better. That's great. So if I right, that's perfect. So if I just, this one's tight fit, so what we'll do is I'm going to squirt some just acetone between this and that, just stick them two together. Ah, damn, things blocked up the needle. Ah, that's got it. Right, stick the others. I need a torch, I can't see what I'm doing. Right. I'm going to acetone them all so that they bond, and I'm going to inject some plastic between them. Right, the acetone will make them stick together. Now I'll just get some of this plastic. Squirt some underneath, down this hole. There's a hole at the back down here. Oops, wrong end. Right, so the feet are on. Right, all done. So just, oh, it's nice to have pink feet on a blue base, on a green base, and a pink top. So that kind of goes well. Look like kitten feet or something. Oh, cat feet. I don't know. Anyway, it's not rocking, is it? No, that's good. While it's still soft, I can adjust the legs a little bit. You know, if one's a bit too high and it rocks, I can push one foot down a bit because this stuff's so flexible, so it allows me to move them around. I'm going to stick this on a flat table, which is across the room. I want to check to see how flat it is. A bit flatter than that is. That is perfect, it's dead flat. Alright, so the feet are on perfectly. The feet are very flat. There's no rocking motion. So it's all going to stick together now, and I've got to leave that for 24 hours to dry. So we're done for today. I'm not going to put anything back on it until it's dried out, and I've got to remodel some new drawers that slide inside here with my coil assemblies and everything, so I can use my existing coils. or I could add on extra coils underneath and have them in sort of stacked, you know. So there's that to do at some point. So there we have it. I'm gonna, as I say, I'm not going to stick these flanges here at the end and move about. I'm not going to stick them flanges on until later because I want them to move around a bit. It's fine. I don't want them to vibrate though when it's running. So when I'm ready, I'm going to stick them in place, but I'm just going to leave them loose for now because they're not. It's fixed in the main structural part. The thicker, these middle three are all bonded in place, and these end ones, that's so critical at this point. It's dry to touch already on the edges. Right. Nothing's vibrating when I bang it. Nothing's going doom, doom, twang. There's no weird twanging noises when I do that, which is good. I hate it when I've got things vibrating and making a racket and you don't know where the sound's coming from. Alright, so we're all done for now. So yeah, as you can see, the bottom's holding itself on now. Yeah. Okay. See you later.